Hey guys, it's time for the 5th starter deck, Machine Black. But real quick, before we get started, if you enjoyed this video, we're almost at 200 subscribers, so if you could just subscribe, build this community with us. We love all the Digidestins in this community. We'd love to have you here. So anyway, this is Black's first starter deck. And it's cool, we got Blitzgreymon here, we got Ty as well. So here's the deck list. We'll get through that pretty soon. Here's the back, it's pretty much the same as all the others. This also came with a booster pack. It came with Great Legends, BT4, and here's the bottom two and the top. And again, the same. The inside's the same as the first starter decks too. Just a plastic case to hold the cards. Yeah, nothing too exciting. So why don't we just jump into the deck? So Machine Black is actually a really cool deck. I think it's got some pretty cool cards, although it's definitely not the best. It's probably the worst out of the 3 starter decks. But anyway, let's get into our baby. So here's Capurimon's a really cute card. It's a nice sleeping little Digimon. Got little babies here. And there's an inheritance that says, your turn. While this Digimon has blocker, it gets plus 1000 DP. So you know it's a decent card. Being able to buff your blockers on your turn, it's okay. It just doesn't really help with blocker in general because you want to use that on your opponent's turn. But being able to buff your guys and just swing with them, I guess, is not too bad. So overall, I think it's an okay baby. There are better babies out there for Black in general. And on to our rookies. Next we have Jazamon. So Jazamon's a 2-cost rookie. It's 1 to Digivolve, has 4k DP. And you know, 2-cost rookies are always good to have. It costs 1 to Digivolve. But again, you're just going to be playing this card for 2 costs. So it's not like you're going to be Digivolving him anyway. So the Digivolution cost isn't necessarily a hindrance. However, if you do need to draw, it can be a little annoying. And I love the artwork. It's just hanging out in like a digital farm. Yeah, it's just nice artwork, just chilling. But yeah, there's Jazamon. So next we have Agumon. So he's a 3-cost, 0 Digivolve. He has 1k DP, and he's blocker. So this is just a really great rookie. It's a 3-cost blocker, and it's just a really solid card. I mean, with the baby, you can make him a 2k on your turn. So I mean, it's not amazing, but I mean, it does give him the buff, I suppose. Having a 3-cost rookie with blocker is just a solid card overall. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good card. I really like the artwork. Some TVs behind him. The deep green in his eyes. Just a beautiful card. So next we have Toy Agumon. So he's a 3-cost, 0 to Digivolve. He has 2k DP, and he has a pretty interesting inheritance that says, end of your opponent's turn. If your opponent didn't attack with a Digimon this turn, trigger, draw 1. So that's a pretty cool ability. Basically getting rewarded for your opponent not attacking. And it can be pretty nice. And say you do have a big blocker on the board and your opponent doesn't want to swing, you can just get that extra draw power now. So, you know, it's a decent effect, decent card for sure. You just don't see it being played too often because right now we're in a pretty aggressive meta. Well, there's a lot of attacking going on right now. Not many decks are just sitting there and not really attacking. And I just love the artwork. You know, he's breaking the rules, dude. Just he's setting everything on fire. Who cares, man? Freedom. And so last we have Commandramon. So he's a 4-cost rookie, 0 Digivolve, but he has 5k. He's just a vanilla rookie. And you know, this card actually isn't that bad. I mean, 4 cost does it does feel steep, but the 5k DP is pretty nice. And if you're running like a D Brigade deck, there's a lot of ways where you can play Commandramon for free, and being able to have a 5k rookie on the board, potentially with Rush, it's pretty good. But for this deck itself, it's an expensive rookie. It's an okay card. It has its place in its archetype. Other than that, you're probably not gonna be playing this card in any other deck. And look at this card though. He's got his gun out, and it's so funny seeing a little army dino with a gun, with a freaking assault rifle. It's funny. I like this card a lot. It's great. So now we're on to our champions, our level 4s. So here's Greymon. So he's a 4-cost, which is really nice. 2-cost Digivolve, 4k DP, and he also has the same inheritance as Toy Agumon, which is end of your opponent's turn. If your opponent didn't attack with a Digimon this turn, draw 1 card. So again, just giving yourself some extra draw power if your opponent doesn't attack, but the effect isn't as useful right now in the current meta. The artwork though is really amazing. I really love this card. It looks so gorgeous. The red and purplish flames. It's just a really nice card. So next we have Jazadmon. So he's a 5-cost, 2 to Digivolve. He has 6k DP, and it's just a vanilla Digimon. A vanilla level 4. So, you know, the card's decent. It's alright. There's nothing bad or negative really to say about it. It costs 5 to play, which can be a little expensive. 2 to Digivolve though is really nice. 6k DP, you know, it's average for a level 4. You know, it's not a bad card. And the artwork is really cool. The Digimon is just really, it's just a really interesting looking Digimon. And it's really cool just seeing it flying around in the sky. It's like a airplane dragon thing. It's pretty cool. So next we have Dark Tyrannomon, possibly the best card in the deck. So it's a 6 cost to play, 1 to Digivolve, it has 5k DP, it has blocker, and then when attacking, lose 2 memory. And that's fine. I mean, you probably aren't going to be attacking on your turn. However, you know, synergizing with the babies in this deck, as you can see, the babies just aren't really helpful in this deck. The babies give you an inheritance that buffs your blockers on your turn, but then that blocker says you lose memory when you attack with it. It's just not really good synergy. But this is a cool blocker. It costs 1 to Digivolve, and at the time, those 1-cost blockers were just so good, so juicy to put in your deck. Yeah, Dark Tyrannomon was a really good card for its time, and it still is a really good card. And his artwork is really cool too. It looks like maybe there's some oil dripping off his fingers, his claws there. It's got some flame. It looks like he's just staring at you, ready to just attack you. It's a pretty nice card. Yeah, he's been blocking, just tearing up Digimon apart with his blocking. Yeah, it's a cool card. You should have 4 of this in your collection for sure. All right, on to our level 5s. So here we have Metal Greymon. So he costs 6 to play, 3 to Digivolve. He has 7k DP, and he says, when Digivolving, until the end of your opponent's next turn, one of your Digimon gains blocker. So, you know, I mean, he's a decent guy. I mean, he gives himself blocker, which can be nice. You can Digivolve into him and then have a blocker out on board, and then potentially have 8k DP to swing into something with the baby. But overall, I mean, it's a one-time use effect, so after you Digivolve into him, he's just a vanilla. So more often than not, you're probably going to be Digivolving him into your breeding area anyway, because like it doesn't really matter if you miss out on that blocker. It only triggers once, and it's only lasting for the turn, so it's not like an amazing blocker ability. The best thing about this card is the artwork, which is just phenomenal. It's just another fantastic piece of a Virus Greymon coming right at you. That aggression, the fire, it's just really well designed. I love it. It's a really cool card. It just kind of sucks. Alright, now we have a vanilla level 6, Metal Tyrannomon. So he costs 6 to play, 3 to Digivolve, and has 9k DP. This card already is just better than him. He has 9k DP, which is just solid. I'd rather have the 9k than giving someone blocker, potentially, because it's so situational. It only lasts the turn. This guy's just gonna have 9k. You can just be swinging into potential Digimon and just deleting your opponent's guys that you might need to get rid of. And he's definitely going to be swinging over blockers. So overall, this card's already better than Metal Greymon. And Metal Tyrannomon just looks really cool. It's just a really nice condensed piece of artwork. He's coming out here looking really, he's just looking kind of freaky and creepy. His perspective, like his head looks really big. His body down here is kind of looking kind of smaller. It just looks really cool. It gives him a bit of a distortion and it makes him look a little creepier. And it also looks like he's just connected up to a computer. Maybe he's just charging up, booting up or something. Just really creepy and really cool. But overall, the card kind of sucks. So now our last level 5, and I'd say the best level 5 of the deck. Here is Mega Dramon. So he costs 7 to play, 3 to Digivolve. He has 7k DP, and his inheritance is simply blocker. He just gives your level 6 and higher blocker. No conditions, nothing needed. You just give him blocker. So that's really, really good. This card is really nice in Machine Dramon because then it allows you to, if you're running, say, Omnimon in the deck, then Omnimons now have blocker, which is just really, really helpful. And even in this deck itself, it's pretty useful. You're giving your guys blocker, you're giving your level 6's blocker, which can be really helpful. So yeah, overall, I think this is a really solid card. It is a vanilla level 5, but the inheritance alone just makes up for it. It's just so good. Being able to give any level 6 that can Digivolve onto him blocker is just really valuable. And I really like the artwork. He's somewhere in the digital mainframe, shooting his missiles. Yeah, it's just a really nice card. Really good card overall. I really like it. One of my favorites, and it's definitely not because I'm biased because I love Machine Dramon. Speaking of Machine Dramon, here's our first level 6, Machine Dramon. So he costs 10 to play, 3 to Digivolve, he has 11k DP, and he has a when Digivolve effect that says, up to 2 of your Digimon gain reboot until the end of your opponent's next turn. Say Digivolve into Mega Dramon, then he has blocker, so he can just give himself reboot. Now he has blocker and reboot, and he can swing and then reboot himself, which, you know, it's decent. It's a decent little combo, but if you're Digivolving into other level 5s, and of course you could use Metal Greymon to give himself blocker and then Digivolve into him to have blocker and but then give himself reboot, which, I mean, it's fine. Then you have to probably swing with Metal Greymon because you probably don't have enough memory to Digivolve into him and then swing with him too, so it's an expensive and it's a situational card, and for level 6, I think it's just a really bad ability, and I think this is the worst Machine Dramon we ever had. Not much else to say. The artwork is alright though. I think the artwork is kind of cool. But it's also not my favorite artwork that Machine Dramon's ever gotten. I do have the Japanese illustration competition pack artwork that a fan made. I think this artwork is just infinitely better than the one from the official starter deck. He's just being a freaking awesome robot, just about to blast you in the face with his palm blaster, with his Iron Man impulsion beam thing. It just looks really cool. It's a really cool card. Too bad it sucks. So next we have Blitzgreymon. So he costs 12 to play, 4 to Digivolve. He has 12k DP. He has Security Attack +1 and Digiburst for 2, which says one of your Digimon gets plus 4,000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn. So he can buff himself, make himself 6k DP, and you know, that's actually pretty good. But for a level 6, I don't know if this is really good. You're literally just buffing you're literally just buffing a Digimon for 4k DP. That could still kill it. This guy could still die from buffing it. I mean, 16k DP is really good, and you could probably do it more than once, so making him like 20k DP, it's good, but you're only doing that for the turn. It's not lasting forever. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, he's really just here to plop onto the board, Digiburst, to get that extra DP, and then just swing with no brains into security or into Digimon. That's really all he is, and I mean, that can be fun. I just don't think it's really solid for black. I mean, yeah, he could potentially have blocker and reboot as well, but you want to attack with him. He has security +1, so you don't want to necessarily sit with him. So if he just has blocker, you don't want to just have him sit there. Giving him reboot is always going to be the better option, because he can just unsuspend himself and then he won't be able to get swung into. But overall, I just don't think this card's very good. Security +1 and then plus 6k DP, it's okay. It's definitely been power crept out of the game. So I don't think it's like the best card. In the right deck, it can be a pretty powerful card, being able to buff itself, potentially having multiple security pluses and things like that. I mean, it's not a bad card, but it's not a great card. The artwork, man, I just freaking love this card. It looks awesome. Blitzgreymon has never looked better, except in the BT3 alternate art. That's just so gorgeous. Blitzgreymon has almost never looked better. But yeah, when it comes to art, I love it. It's a fantastic looking card. So now onto our tamer. Here's Tai Kamiya. So he costs 2 to play, which is pretty nice. It says opponent's turn. When you use blocker to suspend one of your Digimon, you may suspend this tamer to unsuspend your Digimon. And you know, that's actually pretty good. Giving your blockers direct support and giving your blockers the option to block more than once is really solid. And of course, the security effect plays him without paying his memory cost. But other than that, he's just a complementary tamer. He's not going to be a tamer you want to only run in your deck. It's not a great tamer. It's not a good card, but I can still see this potentially having some niche spots in some decks. And I do have to admit, the artwork is pretty boring. There's nothing too exciting about it. It's just regular stock art Tai in some strange stock art back art that looks slightly digital. Yeah, tamer kind of sucks this deck. Alright, now to our option cards. So here's Laser Eye. It costs 4 to play. So it says main, trigger, Digivolve 1 on up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon. Then it has a security effect that activates its main effect. So at 4 costs, you're going to Digivolve 2 of your opponent's Digimon. You know, that's not bad. It's really not a bad effect. Not many cards can protect themselves from Digivolving, including now in EX3. There's just not much Digivolving protection at the moment. So, you know, it's a decent card. It even costs it's kind of cheap too for what it does. I think 4 costs is decent, because you can Digivolve 2 Digimon, potentially getting rid of 2 annoying Digimon, and it activates in the security. So, you know, it's a decent card. It's not amazing. You're not going to be running it in your decks that often. You're not going to be seeing it too often. But when you do, it's going to annoy you. And the artwork, you know, it's pretty cool. It's Jazzardmon just doing his thing, hey? Yeah, overall, you know, it's an okay card. Not great, but not bad. And last but not least, we have Dark Side Attack, which is the best option card of the deck. So it costs 5, and it says main, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 7 or less, and then its security effect activates it as well. So overall, it's just a solid deletion for black. 5 costs to delete something at 7 or less, essentially deleting a level 5 or lower Digimon. It's really good. I think it's a pretty solid card. Although black has definitely gotten power crept a lot since this came out. So the only reason this card doesn't see play is because there's just better black deletion effects out there now. But the one thing those other black cards don't have is the artwork. I really like this artwork. Mega Germon's doing some pretty cool stuff here. All out missile attack here. All out missile fury. Yeah, it just looks pretty cool. So that's Machine Black. You know, it's not like an incredible deck. There's nothing too special about it. There's a few nice small cards you can get, like maybe Blocker Agumon and Dark Tyrannomons. Good blocker as well. Megadramon's good. So overall, it did well for some small niche blocker buffs. But the deck itself is just, I think it's just bad. It's the worst out of the 3 that we got with this, with the green, black, and purple starter decks. It's the worst one of the 3. But I still appreciate the deck. I mean, it's got some really, really good artwork. We can't deny that. I mean, it's almost bordering onto machine horror. I mean, there's some really cool stuff in here. But the deck still is pretty lackluster. As black's only starter deck, it's pretty disappointing. I would love to see more a black focused starter deck. You know, we do have Ragnarormon, which is red and black, which, you know, that's really nice. But I would love to see a more black focused starter deck. Black has recently started to get pretty interesting, and I would love to see more starter deck focus on it. Give it some shine, give it some more love. Maybe make a black Digimon premium starter deck, Bandai. Wink, wink, wink. So there's really not much else to say about the deck. It's cool. It was pretty fun for its time. It gave us a couple good cards. People really only bought this thing for Dark Tyrannomon. At one point, I think this was like a $10 card. So, you know, that's telling you something. And, you know, since then, Dark Tyrannomon has actually gotten some pretty cool alternate arts. Or at least it's gotten one. So, you know, overall, I think Machine Black it's a bad starter deck. Don't buy it. It's not worth it. If you want to get any cards from here, just buy the singles, either individually or just buy the ones you want. It's not very expensive, and you're just getting a BT4 pack, which, yeah, there's some good cards in that set, but what are the odds you're going to pull anything good in one pack? So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate you making it to the end of the video. You're sweethearts. Again, we're almost at 200 subscribers, so if you haven't subbed yet, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Hit the like button, and comment down below. Let me know what you think about the deck. Let me know what you think about Black and its role in Digimon. And what, if you were here when this deck came out, what did you think about the deck when it came out? I mean, Black was really struggling at this time. So, any help it got could have helped, even if it was kind of a crappy starter deck. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace!